Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Empire Builder. What is your plan? Over the last few weeks, I've gotten a lot of emails and calls from young entrepreneurs about starting a business or a business they've recently started that they are struggling to make ends meet. Some of them have been in business for a year or two, haven't even made a dollar for themselves at this point. But brings me back to a year ago. I had a very young entrepreneur come to me with a written proposal, business plan, on a business that she wanted to launch. Okay, and the name of the business was the Sugar Sweet Shop. And the idea of this business was a dessert business, okay, with a charity component. And the items that they were going to sell were going to be Madeleines, mini cupcakes, cookies, specialty brownies, and possibly macaroons. Now, all of those sound really great, and I love desserts, just like probably most of us do. But the time of the business proposal came down to when things were going to get worked on, because they were looking for an investor, right? So the hours and days were Monday through Saturday. Sundays were going to be off. The investors were the parents, because this was Gianna's business plan, which I was very proud of her for writing a business plan and coming to us. So it's really exciting to see what happens when you really surround themselves with great people, great ideas, books, business plans. One of the favorite shows in the house is Shark Tank, right? So Gianna was asking for $250 at that time for 33 1/3% of her company from Terry and I. So I went through what I do with our clients and our potential clients, all of these young entrepreneurs, about what sets them apart in their business plan. And a lot of people I've met do not have a business plan. And there's different levels of a business plan, okay? There's general ones, and there's summaries, and then there's really detailed ones when you're going to a bank to get financing for a loan. But you need to understand your own business plan in your mind. You need to be able to write it down, okay? So I've been doing this for a number of years, helping people do these things. So good evening, Thomas. Joanna, thank you for watching. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate everybody that's been sharing things out, and please share this out if you get a chance. And your emails and your comments, it's been really supportive. I do take into account everybody's questions, and I try to get to them as we go on different topics and so forth, and include them in different areas. Okay, so good evening, Paul. Thanks for watching. And so we were talking about a business plan. You're trying to start a business. So first thing you have to start to do is, what is your vision for the company, right? Where do you see the company now? Where do you see it in the future? Where do you want to take it? What's the possibilities of it, okay? And you need to come up with a budget, a startup budget, on how much money you're going to need. And I'm going to tell you, you need to always plan for more than that, because things always cost more, okay? There's this rule of thumb out there, about 20% more than you would actually expect. So you got to start to think about setting up your corporation and getting a license and your corporate documents. Are you going to choose which entity? Are you going to choose a C Corp or an S Corp? Okay, you could choose an LLC also. But even if you choose an LLC, you need to choose a tax identity for the IRS. So you still are going to have to choose within that subcategory a C or S Corp, even if you're an LLC, just to protect yourself. And you need to do these things because you have personal assets, personal things you're trying to protect with your husband, your wife, your family, and school funds. You don't want a business endeavor to ever have a problem and have someone come after that money, right? So you really need to protect yourself, right? Definitely need to protect your empire, and setting up the proper documentation in the beginning is key. You know, it could cost you anywhere, depending on the state, from a couple $100 to $1,500 to get everything taken care of, just to protect yourself. So you also have to think about insurance, okay? And again, leading towards that protection of your business insurance, your liability insurance, especially if you're going to have staff, okay? If you're going to have coworkers helping you build this business, you need to prepare yourself for that, right? So by preparing yourself, you need to protect yourself again, right? So there's two things you need in your business plan: your setup and how you can protect things, right? You need to protect your assets, protect your family, and you also need to figure out how you're going to grow this business, because you need to grow it as quickly as possible in the beginning, because you have no revenue coming in. You have costs, you have expenses, and you have no revenue. So let's talk about, you need to have educational qualifications to start this business, or experience, because who is going to invest in a brand new startup company? Very few banks will do it. If you go through the SBA, I'm going to tell you, they don't do startups either. You could go online. There's some microloan people out there and entities, but you're going to pay higher interest rates, right? So, and that's saying you have good credit, you've taken care of your credit for years, you don't have anything that could hurt you, and you could get a decent interest rate on that money you're trying to borrow. But you still need to prove qualifications and education. You can't go out there. It's like me if I just went out there and started a boating company, okay? Growing up in New York City, obviously you guys know, I have no background in that, okay? Completely set up to fail, right? Now, can I drive a boat? Yes. Have I learned? Yes. That doesn't make me an expert in it and say I could go start a boat business, right? So you need educational qualifications. You need experience to show banks, to show investors. These are the things that set you apart. This is why they should invest in you and your company. Then you have to start to think about a budget, right? You're going to have cost of goods for your business. Good evening, Chris. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And cost of goods, payroll, staff expenses, right? So if you're going to have those, there's other things that go into those categories too. You need to have workers' comp to protect yourself and your employees if they get hurt on the job, right? Health insurance, you might have to provide that depending on your state, and there's different rules and qualifications for that. Especially if you want to get the best talent. You're competing with other established companies that are offering benefits. So you're going to have to come up and step up to the plate and say, I can offer you this, right? But I'm going to tell you, if you're a true leader and you work your tail off and you can inspire them for what you're trying to build, that culture sets you apart, will set your company apart to take it to the next level, okay? Because it's not always about just the salary or the benefits. The majority of people want to be part of something bigger. They want to be able to affect people's lives and make a difference. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you can build a culture like that, you will set yourself apart. And it takes years. I mean, John and I and our staff over the years have interviewed thousands of people and resumes, right? We went through times where we were like, we can't find good help. Where do we go to find good help? There's no good help out there. We started getting negative on things, right? But we had to turn it around. It took years for us to turn it around and realize that there are great people out there. We just needed to go out and find them, okay? Some of our greatest hires were from retail managers, a receptionist at a valet place where John and I used to go. I mean, some great, really good people that cared about our company and that are still with us today. You know, so you have to go find them, okay, because they are out there. And what brings them to you is that culture, okay, and making a difference. So you need to be able to budget for all these expenses when you're trying to start a business. Cost of goods, payroll, staff. You need to budget for fixed assets, your utilities, your IT costs, your rent. And I'm going to call them fixed, but if you've been watching over the year plus, you know that I do not believe in fixed costs because everything around us goes up. It is so challenging to run a small business today. That's why you need to keep growing. That's why you need to accept change. You know, if you've been doing it one way, I have to tell you, it's not going to be the same way in a couple of years, okay? Property taxes go up. There are always things that keep happening to a business, okay? Costs of doing business keep going up, but I'm going to call those things fixed assets, fixed expenses for now. And you really need to look at, after all of that, then you get to the net profit, right? If there is one in the beginning, right? So you, as the owner, get paid last, okay? So it takes time to get these things established, but it helps with building a great culture, coming up with a business plan or a budget. And, you know, when Gianna did this last year, it was a great learning tool for us to work with her and teach her. And even her school had a Shark Tank event, which I was really honored to be asked to be on as an investor. And the kids have great ideas, right? But you still need to understand how to truly put together a business. It's not just an idea. You have to be able to take action on that idea and invest in yourself, get other people to believe in your company, and know how much it costs you to do business, okay? And if you truly know that, you will be successful because you have a plan, you have a vision. If you put the work in and the action to make it happen, I'm going to tell you, it will happen, okay? It doesn't happen overnight. It sometimes takes years of hard work. But if you're dedicated, I mean, for a number of years, John and I were like spinning our wheels in the beginning. And late nights, we missed numerous things, weddings in our family, bachelor parties, all of those great things, vacation time. But it is so worth it in the end. So come up with your business plan. If you need help on this, just reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk you through anything with this. Good evening, Janice. Thank you for jumping on. I appreciate your time. And I really want you to think about one thing when you're setting up your business. If you do not have one yet, and you're going to be setting one up in the future, and you currently have one, always bring some sort of charity component into your business because that will set yourself apart in the community, and it really does make running a business so rewarding. And it builds a better culture with your staff because they realize that they are doing things not only for themselves, but they are giving back to people that need it in the community or outside your community. So setting yourself apart with adding that charity component, and it could be different charities throughout the year. It doesn't have to be the same one, but I'll tell you, one of the most rewarding things we've been able to do in the past is we've helped hurricane victims. You know, it was just one of the examples we've done, and it really builds a great rapport in our office. Our patients come in and they feel really part of what we're doing when we're giving back. So set yourself apart, add a charity component if you don't have one, or build one into your business plan for when you do start your business. If you need help with this, just reach out to us. Thank you again for your time. I appreciate the shares and the comments. I want you guys to have a great week. Go build your empire. Thank you for watching.